5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom shakalaka, mother huggers, and welcome to Gents. And today we are talking about the Cape Town drought. This is episode 3. My name is Dane.
And I'm Jared. And I'm really happy to be able to be talking to you, Dane, about this situation that's hit international news now. And I hope we can inform some people about it, and maybe we can learn from it too. So first of all, day 0 is approaching. If you could tell me what day 0 is, you, I suppose, being in Cape Town, know better than I do what that's all about.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Day 0 was or is the day that they'll turn the taps off so that they can try and conserve as much water as possible. And what this means is that people won't have running water in their houses, and they'll have to go to collection points to pick up a maximum of 25 liters per person per day. Last week sometime, day 0 was predicted to be on the 16th of April. And a few days ago, they extended that to be sometime in May. So that's a bit of a positive, progression or whatever. And yeah, that is due to the fact that the agricultural industry, farming and whatnot, they've agreed to use less water pretty much and get off the municipal water and focus more on water they can get from the ground or streams or whatever. Yeah. So that is day 0 in a nutshell.
And it's also because Cape Townians have been reducing their water consumption, right?
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. There's been a lot of, if you check social media, people in Cape Town have just been going nuts with how they're saving water, showering for a minute with a bucket, catching the water to use as grey water to flush your toilet. People have been stepping up to the plate quite nicely. But apparently Cape Town as a society has still not been reaching the targets that they're kind of aiming for. I don't know whether that's 5 million or 500 million liters. I don't know. I don't know what the target is. But yeah, apparently we're 50 million off or something, 50 million liters off.
And I've also seen some pictures of, perhaps you could fill me in and let me know if this is just some kind of joke or if maybe you've tried it yourself or if it's an actual thing. I saw a picture of a toilet with a plastic shopping bag kind of underneath the rim, which the person would then poo in would shit in, and then just discard that, kind of as a measure to save water.
I received that image, the one you're talking about. I actually, because it was something that went around. I think it was spreading on WhatsApp or whatever. And the first time I saw that image, it was sent to me by the old lady that lives downstairs in the flat that I own. I thought that she was kind of telling me that she's shitting in a packet, and I kind of didn't respond to her because I just thought it was weird for her to be telling me that. But then I realized a couple of days later, someone else showed me, and yeah, it's actually something that's been sent around or whatever. So maybe it's real. Maybe someone genuinely did that, and yeah, who knows, man. Have you ever experienced anything like that, Jared? Shitting in a bag or?
That's a whole another podcast. I'd like to remain focused, if we can, on the day 0 drought situation in Cape Town, if that's okay with you.
Okay, sure. That's not a problem.
I've got a quote for you from the late great king of pop and alleged pedophile. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. So through this drought, I can imagine on one side you have people, probably negative people, who are afraid of the potential of a kind of anarchy kind of thing going on because of this drought situation. Or
Yeah,
there's probably
definitely.
people out there where it's like, come on, let's do this. We can do this together as the Rainbow Nation, and like put our social differences and our because that's a big issue in South Africa, always has been, and put that behind us and kind of work together. Where would you fall in that kind of category?
I would say I'm more for looking at this positively, because I believe that people are inherently good, and well, most people at least. And I mean, fears do exist and whatnot. Even for myself, a bit of fear exists, because like there's people out there that I love, and I wouldn't want anything bad to happen to them. But yeah, I do believe that in like desperate times, some desperate people do desperate things, and that could be, I don't know, that could be with violent actions, like someone mugging someone for their water at the collection point, or that could exist. So there's like probably like 10% of me that like has a slight concern about that. But I think that I mean, we've seen in the past with when there's issues, especially in Cape Town, because yeah, that's where I'm from. So from personal experience, I've seen a positive reaction to hardship, like people coming together, unity. Yeah, even companies and whatnot have shown in the past that like they want to help. Like people want to help. People don't want to see others suffering. And yeah, with a big kind of catastrophic event like this that we could potentially have in our hands, I think that most people will pull together and help each other out. Yeah, and for you, like, where would you fall in that?
Well, I'm with you on that one. And there's I'd like to believe that this will bring people together, and hopefully, well, it'll force people to think differently about their water consumption, and kind of like, create this new water culture, which is not only important for Cape Town, but I mean, I think it's a worldwide thing. This is climate change, an effect of climate change, I would say, and it's definitely something that people need to consider, because we can't go on like we have. Like I'm in Germany. They don't have a problem with water or the availability of water, but they have their fair share of other problems. But who's to say that because of climate change in 10, 15 years, Germany won't have a water problem? So there's a lot of things that can be learned from this Cape Town thing. But to answer your question, I also, I feel the same way as you, but I also believe that, some people aren't good-natured or intrinsically out to help other people. I think there are other kind of people out there that are not like that and could cause a problem. But so just to clear this up, what we're thinking of, like the potential for a situation would be when day zero happens. Like you said, they're going to close off all the taps. So then you'll have to go down to a community center or a place nearby to collect your water, which would be, as far as I've heard, 25 liters per person. And because it's water, everybody needs it. This might stoke certain, let's say, kind of like maybe old wounds, I don't know, and might lead, or also just the fact that people are upset at the government's handling of this, and they might act out in a violent way. I hope this doesn't happen. Oh yeah, we need to put a disclaimer out there. This is a serious matter, the drought, whatever. We're not water professionals. We're just giving our opinion, our take on this particular situation. I was born in Cape Town and live in Germany. Dane lives in Cape Town also. He's got his finger on the pulse of the whole situation. So hopefully we'll be able to learn something about this. But whatever you do, don't do anything that we might suggest before thinking long and hard about it.
Don't listen to us. Listen to us, but don't listen to us. Listen to us, but don't listen to us. Thank you.
Another thing would be there are some undertones of some puppet masters at play here, if you can understand what I'm trying to describe, that there are some Game of Thrones kind of tricks at play here within the political system. And just for you guys out there that don't know, South Africa is made up of provinces. The only province that isn't controlled by the ANC government is that of the Western Cape, where Cape Town is situated. That is controlled by the Democratic Alliance Party. And there's been some, there's been some serious rumors that the ANC government is strategically and malevolently not helping the situation because they want to see the Democratic Alliance burn, basically, so they can come in and then clear up at the end of the day and take all the credit. Am I talking bullshit, or is there something to this?
There might be something to this. It might be bullshit, but I did read something about that. There was a little news story or some rumor snippet or something that was shared with me that claimed that this was or they were saying that this is the case, or a strong possibility that it is the case, that as you said, the ANC would want the kind of downfall of the DA in the Western Cape so that they could swoop in and claim power over the Western Cape province. With Cape Town being
that sucks.
It sucks big time. With Cape Town being the economic hub that it is, that's obviously a pie that the ANC, the current ruling party of South Africa, would like to pop their finger into. So I'd hope it's not the case, because there's a lot of people that are going to suffer because of this. So if the rumor is true, then they're a bunch of bloody buggers, if you ask me. But
well, I think not even there already are people suffering because of the ANC government. I don't want this to go into a political rant. I just want to keep it kind of open and first of all, I'd like to admit that I don't know. I'm not going to come out there and say I've got these facts, because I don't. So I'm open for all kinds of alternatives to what I believe or what I think at the moment. But say what you will, the ANC government, especially Jacob Zuma himself, has got a lot of domestic and international criticism, and I think for very strong reasons. So this also, it's not only a climate change issue, it's also a governance issue within South Africa. So it's crazy where this might end up. Nobody knows. And Jacob Zuma is supposed to be on the way out, right?
Yeah. Currently, there are the big wigs of the ANC. I believe it was Sunday nights. They had a chat with Jacob Zuma, and I believe that they were kind of saying that they'd like him to step down, and I think he said no in that conversation. So not to go too far down that political rabbit hole, but I believe that there's going to be a vote of no confidence, probably the fourth or fifth that there's been so far in his presidency, for him to step down, and for the current vice president of the country and newly elected president of the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa, to take his place as president of South Africa, which seems like it would be a positive thing, as he's currently on the anti-corruption warpath, and he's trying to gain more confidence in investors for South Africa. So economically, it could be a really positive thing. But just back to the issue of the drought and whatnot. The way I understand it, as far as this rumor went, the national government they control the bulk water supply. So the Western Cape doesn't have the power to doesn't have control of the bulk water supply. So they can't kind of put their own measures in place or something like that to allow for the Western Cape to have an increase in the bulk water supply, if that was what was required to avoid this drought situation or the lack of water situation. And I believe, as far as this rumor goes, there's they were a little bit, their hands were tied a little bit. I think there was mismanagement in the Western Cape with the DA government here. But I think their hands were somewhat tied with the amount of measures that they could put in place, potentially due to the rumor, because of the fact that there's some corruption going on, and certain ministers want to have fingers in pies to have control over who gets the tenders to build desalination plants and other sorts of things that could help out with the situation. So I would hope that this huge catastrophe isn't due to corruption, as quite a few other things in the country have been over the past few years, under the Jacob Zuma presidency. So it sounds like it could be this whole kind of political cloak and dagger, selfish arsehole situation going on. But climate change, governance,
it's the
Game
big
of
one, I
Thrones.
think.
I think that is a big one.
Game of Thrones too.
And also, the influx of people moving to the Western Cape for better financial opportunities and stuff. That's a big thing too. The population here has grown immensely. There's so much development in Cape Town and surrounds, and so with that comes an increased need in municipal services like water. So
and so here's another thing. Like many other societies around the world, Cape Town or South African society is quite unequal. And would you say that I'm correct when I would say something like that? A lot of people, South African citizens, not only South Africa, but a lot of people worldwide actually, live in a day zero kind of environment anyway, and have been living in that environment for a long period of time, where they don't have running water. They have to go to a kind of a center or a particular point to pick up water in like a big bottle or something. So first of all, would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. We see it in informal settlements in Cape Town itself. There are communities that share a tap, and they go collect water from a single tap, and full bottles and whatnot. So that definitely is a true thing.
So bearing that in mind, could it be that people are losing their shit a little bit too much with the whole day zero thing? Has it been a little bit, sensationalized a little bit? If you consider that a lot of people within the country have been living for years in a day zero situation?
Sure. Well, obviously, it's just going to be more strain on everybody, be it those who are struggling and those who aren't. So, I don't know. Like it might be a little bit sensationalized. It might just be people like up in arms about the potential kind of inconvenience of it all. Like I myself, I don't really see it as like such a big deal having to, wash yourself. Well, not a big deal. Like it is a big deal, but like having to wash yourself with a bucket of water or whatever. In winter, obviously, that's going to be a bit crap. But like it is an inconvenience. But I don't know, if everyone's sharing that inconvenience, it could just be like something you have to accept and move on with, like hopefully it passes after not too long. But as I say this, it does make me think about people that have to do that every day, and that's quite a crazy realization.
Yeah, because I think maybe a lot of people might, through this experience, because day zero, from what I've heard, is a 100% certainty. When it does happen, it's going to be able to give people some consideration or kind of apathy for these. How would you describe them? Downtrodden or underprivileged or people that are living in a day zero situation anyway. But that's pretty interesting, and I think from that, I hope that people will be like, wow, okay, like, let's just bear in mind whenever we have an opinion or try at least, because sometimes one is impulsive as humans are, and you come out with an opinion or you say something and you don't necessarily take in all the facts. Of course, this happens, but hopefully through the situation, people might be able to, I don't know, identify a little bit more with other people, because if that didn't happen, they'd probably be stuck in their kind of ways the whole time. If I may, I've got another quote from one of my favorite quote websites, purelovequotes.com. Love is like water. We can fall in it, we can drown in it, and we cannot live without it. End quote.
Sure.
Now, I was thinking about that, and I'm sure that, I think, first of all, the quote is incorrect, because I think, I wonder what you'd say to this, that there are people living without love. So that can happen. Like, if you don't have love, you're not going to fall down and die, right? Maybe slowly over a period of years, and like maybe if you don't love yourself, or if nobody loves you, you'll like maybe make wrong decisions, or your health wouldn't be that great and you'd eventually die. But generally, like, I think you don't really need love to live, right?
Definitely you don't need love to survive. I think love
maybe to prosper.
To prosper. Like if you think of like a plant that has its necessities met, as far as some good soil and some water and some sunlight goes, and if that plant were taken care of by someone lovingly, then you use the word prosper. I'm sure that plant would prosper instead of just exist. Maybe that's a very kind of shallow example, but it's all I can come up with at the moment. There's different types of love though. Hey? Like you get care, and you get like like someone could love you and you don't really know it because you don't show it.
Like some people can't express that emotion.
Yeah, there's that is tough for some. That's that vulnerability.
But talking about plants, so like, are there like people out there like water Gestapo kind of like neighbors kind of like ratting other neighbors out because they're watering their gardens kind of thing? Or can one water your garden these days, or how does that work?
Yeah, at the moment you're not allowed to water your garden. Even people with borehole water, that's also been kind of made illegal in a way. Because that is considered municipal water as well, and like we may need to use that at some point when the piped water runs out. Then I mean I believe they're already like part of one of the solutions they're doing is they're drilling in certain places in certain aquifers to extract that water to be used to help the situation in Cape Town. To answer your question, people have been calling other people out. I haven't experienced it personally or heard about it in my immediate vicinity, but it's actually in a lot of your more well-off areas. You get kind of rich motherfuckers who don't care, and they'll just do what they want because they got money. And I mean, I'm not saying money always causes this, but like there's some selfish dudes that just do what they want, and that's been happening. But like, the government does have a kind of, they do have knowledge of those people anyway, and at a point they were naming and shaming people that were doing
publicly
this, like topping up their pools. Publicly, as far as like they would say like a certain address or a certain street or something like that. Which is
so these guys, they're living in the lap of luxury on some kind of hill with a large pool and acres of lawn, and they're not kind of pulling their weight as far as the water consumption is concerned. They're just kind of like using it as they would before this whole thing happened. But this is what I'm saying, like hopefully these guys also, they'll be able to realize at least that this isn't the way to do things. And it's not only about this water consumption thing, because I think it goes back to everything. Like, how are you living? Like, are you you're putting on your clothes in the morning, and then you go to work, you sit in a chair, you don't sweat. You come home and you put those clothes in the washing machine, which uses water. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are doing that, but all they had to do is maybe just hang it up and put it outside to kind of like get the breeze going through it to remove whatever kind of odors, if there are. Fair enough, if you're like sweating the whole day and you're stinking, then you need to like kind of wash your clothes, but I'm sure there's a lot of kind of like instances of people just without even thinking about it. Fair enough, like I do the same thing, but it's only in my mind because I have a connection to Cape Town and I know about this water shortage thing. But I was cooking some soft boiled eggs the other day, and I'd never done it before, but I started thinking about how much water am I using to cook the soft boiled eggs. Because you cook the soft boiled eggs, you don't want them to be, you want the water level to be at least above the eggs, so that they get cooked evenly. And then after you cook them, you pour, what I would do is, I don't know how you go about cooking boiled eggs, even if you do eat them, I'd pour the water out, and then what you do is you use cold water to then rinse the eggs it helps the shells come off the egg easily. And I must have used at least 2 liters just for cooking a fucking boiled egg.
It's strange you bring that up, because last night I was having dinner at my aunt, and she has boiled eggs quite often, and she actually just leaves the water on the stove and reuses that pot of water for boiled eggs because she eats them quite often. So
I see. Genius.
That's what people are doing, that sort of thing, and maybe the convenience of running it under cold water to make it easier for the shells to come off. Maybe that's just like not done anymore. People are making effort to curb this whole water situation by creating a little bit of inconvenience in their lives. What you mentioned about washing clothes and whatnot and hanging them up to air out in the breeze. There's been like tips shared about that as well. I believe it's making a paste with a bit of bicarb water, perhaps some vinegar in there as well, and rubbing this paste on the smelly areas of your clothes, and then airing that out to dry, brushing it off afterwards, and there you go. You got non-stinky clothes again. Because bicarb kills bacteria and whatnot, and as does vinegar. So people are doing things. Some of the things you're mentioning as well.
Are you stockpiling water?
I have stockpiled a little bit for myself and my partner. Currently, we have 18 5-liter bottles of water. We're actually out of Cape Town the weekend because it's been a little bit difficult to get hold of large bottles of water in Cape Town, because as soon as they go on sale at shops, people buy them because everyone's trying to stockpile a bit, and there's like limits and whatnot. So I was up in an area called Wilderness in the Garden Route that they don't have a water issue at the moment, and I bought 10 bottles of water when I was there and brought them home. So we got a little stockpile going.
Just in case.
I mean, look, if things go nuts, like if things don't go nuts, then we'll have that'll be our drinking water, and we can go collect some water from the collection points to like wash ourselves and whatnot. And if things go crazy, like some people fear, then we'll pop that water in the car and just like drive out of the province and see if we can work remotely or something like that until the shit blows over. But I don't think it'll come to that. But that's just if violence, anarchy occurs, then it's like, come, let's get the fuck out.
Because I suppose one has to have kind of like an escape route planned. So just imagine it got to that point where, like Cape Town city centre was in flames. People were just rioting, like food riots, but this is worse because it's water riots, and like you can only survive without water for like a couple of days compared to without food for like a couple of weeks or whatever. So people are losing their shit. They're starving. They're upset. It's chaos. We are in now a state of chaos, and it's like, I need to get the fuck out of here, because if I don't, somebody might come and try and get my stockpile of water and then like kill me for it. But we're just letting our imagination run riot here. Like it would be nice to have maybe a gun perhaps in that kind of situation, or an helicopter with a qualified pilot. But I don't think it's going to get that far. And let's try and remain positive. Look at all this creativity that it's caused so far. Like I've seen crazy things, like people just simple, like the boiled egg thing is just simple genius, which saves, I don't know if everybody do it, how many millions of liters per year. And the one guy had on just a tap, a normal tap, not a turn tap, but a flip tap, you flip it up.
Mm-hmm.
He had an elastic band around the tap and the faucet. So, because usually it just gives you that little amount of water and then it goes down. So you're saving water there. Or I've heard of people using, these kind of like, what you'd use to spray insecticide over like crops or whatever, but handheld. And it creates like this fine mist.
Yeah.
So they've like modified that and put it onto their shower head. So what will come out of the shower head is not large drops, but a fine mist, which apparently gets the job done just as well. And you're also saving huge amounts of water. So if like, let's remain positive. Maybe this could be another kind of like, I don't know, 1994 Nelson Mandela winning the Rugby World Cup in 1995 situation at the end of the day, where people are like, we did this. Look what we like accomplished. And at the same time, I hope that government takes responsibility and there's kind of like inroads there and people get called out for the corruption which is going on. But I think the larger issue at the end of the day is like just worldwide climate change. And I'm still kind of like, I'm awed in that, like flawed or whatever when I hear of climate change deniers, where it's like they've got to have some kind of like motive behind this which they're going to gain from.
Yeah, and what would the real negative be with even if you don't believe in climate change, like entertain the idea of it, and the only like lack that I can see or kind of perceive from that would be like that they lose gains or something like that, like profiting. I mean, currently we are living in excess, and it seems to be kind of industry leaders and I suppose it's going back to governments and stuff like that, but like it's people in power that make these decisions that allow for regulations or not to be passed in order for people to cut down on like kind of excess and whatnot. Like to me it just seems like it's mostly about selfish gain, like to deny climate change. And would it be such a bad thing to cut down on the shitty things, like the excess and the overproduction of waste and shit like that? Like, yeah, to me it doesn't make sense to like aggressively deny that man has an impact on the planet. Like, yeah, what's your take on that?
Wow, it's an interesting issue at the moment because it's one hears of all these things that are happening all over the world, but the question is that just because of the fact that we're so connected that we just through our news feeds or the like, we just kind of like know what the hell's going on in like the island of Bali, and then the next minute there's something happening in California kind of thing. If that wasn't the case before the internet, but I think the science is out, and man has definitely had a impact on climate change, the activities of man, which I believe in. But it's like, so on the one hand you have people that are like, come on guys, let's save water, let's be creative and save the planet and consume less and be aware of what kind of like materials we're buying and ask questions, is it sustainable and etc., and also the food that we're eating. And then it's like a part of me is like, Mother Nature, she's quite a bitch when she wants to be, and because like, for example, there are some bad shit, like there are some really dark kind of like things that would make you question your idea of nature if you think about what goes on in nature, like some really crazy little insects and fucking animals out there that only do horrible things, basically. I mean, they're surviving and they've got their own thing going on, but it's like, can she look after herself? I think at the end of the day we can make a difference, with the way we consume and the way we approach things like we're talking about water expenditure, etc. And definitely has to happen within a political framework, and also the common man must also kind of like be educated about it. But I think that like whatever happens, like Mother Nature will be okay. You know, it's like we're just like finger snaps anyway, like humanity, and to think that we could. Yeah, maybe we could fuck up this entire planet for all eternity, but I don't want to sound like a climate change denier, but I don't know if you know what I mean when I say that, like nature and like the universe is kind of like bigger than us, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm getting a little bit
sure.
maybe I'm getting a little bit too broad here, but let me come back and just kind of go back to this water issue. You know, that's it's fair to say that it's because of climate change that this is happening, but I think at the end of the day we need to like address the way we live, kind of thing. But then that's fair enough for me to say, but you know, a lot of people can't do that, you know, like maybe one should just say, hey, it'll be fine at the end of the day, like nature will sort itself out.
Yeah, like but nature will sort itself out. But this is about like the survival of the human race. Like you say, Mother Nature. Like if it's like the Earth will be fine. Like different forms of life could happen that survive in conditions that we can't. But I think the crux of the matter is for humankind to continue the human species, and you know, if we can like live in like in a balanced way, so that we conserve our habitat, which is the Earth, and make it habitable for ourselves. That's the kind of crucial matter, because like once humans die out or whatever because we destroy all the drinkable water for ourselves, if that happens, then yeah, the Earth will carry on, life will carry on without us. So, I mean, yeah, just thinking about that, there's two quotes I checked here. One says that water covers 2/3 of the surface of the Earth, but only 0.002% is drinkable. So, with that in mind, like, save water, you know. And another quote was, excuse me, the wars of the 21st century will be fought over water. And yeah, if that's where we're heading, then we should do what we can to prevent those wars, you know.
That's happening right now in Cape Town, and you know, things are predicted to be dry. It's not as if the rain's going to come down now and all of a sudden this water issue is going to be gone, you know. Like, even if we do have good rains, which is forecasted not to happen over the next few years, it's not going to magically take away this issue. It's like a regional thing also. It's not just Cape Town, it's Southern Africa in general, and it's also other parts of the world. You know, a lot of people say, yeah, because of the El Nino wind last year, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It could very well be because of El Nino, but it could also be that Mother Nature's like, oh man, I'm fucked, you know, like help me. Like I can't carry on like this because, you know, polar bears are dying and the ice is melting. And yeah, we're changing the planet. But then again, it's like, you know, people are very short-sighted. So
yeah,
I mean, we need to get out there and check out the world before it all like gets destroyed. You know, like travel, go if you can. Just like, and I don't mean go overseas to travel. Like if within your means, if you can also travel to like your neighboring province or state, whatever, do that too, and just like go see what that place has to offer. Because I have a pessimistic point of view that it's gonna end up like Mad Max.
Yeah, could do. I mean, what you said about the could be the El Nino, whatever. Like people need to adapt to that then, you know, like this, like already in South Africa, this isn't only Cape Town that it's affecting. In the Eastern Cape, there's certain towns that are kind of, their day zeros are closer than Cape Town's, and that's in another province further up the East Coast. Like people should adapt their ways to make sure that like supplies of things we need are available for the future. It requires a bit of foresight and a bit of planning. But yeah, that's what needs to be done, eh?
Yeah, it's interesting because like you know, we have taken over the planet, and also other kind of like similar species. We've kind of like survived through the ice ages and all that kind of shit, and just because of the fact that we can kind of like communicate with each other and work together. So so I think one has to remain positive, and hopefully this will from grassroots kind of level just like change the way we've been doing things. Like, you know, like our kids are probably gonna like, I don't know what they're gonna think of us. They're probably gonna think like, hey, can you know, like the days of excess, you know, when we were living, and these kids are like, they figured it all out, you know, like they're probably living a lot more in tune with nature. I hope so, you know, because the way we're going at the moment, I don't know if unless we change, it doesn't look rosy at all.
Yeah. There's a quote I'd like to shall we bring things to a close, or what you reckon,
we could,
Jared?
yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yes.
There's
sure.
just a quote here by Chris Rock that pertains to water a little bit. He says, there are only 3 things women need in life: food, water, and compliments.
Nice. Yeah, well, let's wrap it up. It's been nice chatting about this issue. We've probably left a lot unsaid, but what we have said, I hope that's kind of like help people. You know, I'm going to take away just the fact that your aunt has a pot of water reserved just for boiling eggs, which she, you know, that for me is I'm gonna take that away and do that, just to save water, even though we don't need to save water here, you know, but in Germany, but I think we do. I think we just need to change our mindsets about it. It's quite a beautiful thing. Just someone being that conscious about something that they regularly do, you know, it's pretty cool. And even if you don't reuse that water for eggs, like don't pour it down the drain, like water your plants on your balcony or in the garden, whatever, you know, that's, Flush the toilet with it.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
And in closing, if you have enjoyed the words that we have spoken, please share this. It really helps, and help us get the word out. We're trying to have open discussions about certain things, and all feedback is welcome. And also, if you're not happy with what I said or what we've said, just please let us know. I mean, we can only learn from it, you know?
Yeah, leave a comment. We'll respond. Yeah, whatever. Sweet. Share with friends. Yeah. Anyway, thanks everybody. And thank you, Jared, for this opportunity to talk about this water topic.
Thank you, Dane.
Yeah.
Had a blast. Quite a serious topic. And, you know, people need to take care of themselves in the water situation, but hopefully, you know, it works out in the end.
Yeah,
I'm sure it will. Things have a way of working out, and thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, hopefully we all come out of this stronger. Cool. Thanks for listening. Yeah. Cheers, Jared.
Cool. Take care. Cheers.
Bye-bye.